Hello everyone, how you guys doing? Hopefully you're having a wonderful Monday. As always, we are back again with another Fanatics Weekly Review where I go through the top 100 items auctioned over on their platform. As always, if you enjoy these reviews, do make sure to leave a like. Helps me, helps the channel, all that good stuff. But with that said, here we are and here we go. Starting at $504 this week. Again, just big money at this point. You got to be at the $500 mark. It used to be $100. We'd sometimes see like $60. No longer the case, at least at this point in time. So we start with the 2010 Messi BGS 9 Mega Cracks number 389. A really nice looking Mega Cracks card. The Mega Cracks cards, of course, with the rookies have gotten a lot of love, and that's translated to later years. I actually think this was a deal, or at least a relative deal. There was another one a little lower than this as well. And PSA 9s at least have been binned lately at like 700, 750. And you always have to be a little careful with bins because they're, anything can be manipulated, especially at this point in time where everything's high and expensive, but comparatively, a decent deal if you like BGS 9.5s. 2018 NT Messi, that's a player worn patch, I do believe, goes for $516. A 2011 Messi and Ronaldo, this is just labeled as a Ronaldo, but of course it does have Messi defending there, and that's sort of why it's beloved. PSA 9 for $516. In terms of how that compares price-wise, as you can tell, there has been a higher sale recently on a bin. But earlier this year, you could have got it for $200, and it's been anywhere between, $200, $300, $400 for the most part. So definitely up, not a crazy amount up, but still up quite a bit. Above that, we have a Kobe Mainu and a Matthias Tell, a couple rookies there, depending on where you want to go with that. I thought this Buffon actually was a kind of decent deal if you're a Buffon collector or just a collector of cool patches. This is a game-worn boot, and it's got a nice Puma logo there. That is out of 5. It is a sticker auto, which I guess is the one detraction you would have, but for $500 in a world where, granted it's not Messi, it's not Ronaldo, but it's also better than Kobe Mainu and Matthias Tell. So, granted not a rookie, but still a really cool card. I thought that was a decent one. PSA 4 Messi Campio number 62 goes for $500. Again, that could have been a $100 to $200 card for the most part before the boom. We have a Pedri out of 19 Optic Pink Wave. Pink Wave, certainly not people's favorite, but out of 19 PSA 10 for $500 doesn't seem crazy. A PSA 7 Maradona Este. Don't see a lot of high-grade Estes, so that's why that gets a good number. And above that, I don't think I've ever seen this Messi, to be honest. Like, ever? I don't know how rare it is. If it is rare, PSA 10 Pop 101 implies, at least for now, in this grade it is rare, but this was recently graded, so it always makes me wonder, at least. Next to it, Thiago Silva Red 2017. Of course, people love the Red 2017, and for that reason, it gets a decent number despite not being the best player. Certainly a notable player, but not the best. Speaking of the best, or one of the best, depending on how you want to rank it, we have a White Sparkle Ronaldo PSA 8. Surprisingly, none higher. I know 2022 is not an easy grade in terms of past comps. $500, $600, $300, and $600. So it's back up near what it was when it came out. Above that, a PSA 3 Maradona from 1980 Crack Deportistas. This goes in a PSA 3 for nearly $600, and it's not easy in a high grade. I know in lower grades these are more attainable, but this seems to be a decent grade, at least for the time being. Beckenbauer Bergman 68 in high grade goes for $588. Pop 1 of 1, none higher. Like the imagery there, but the big slab never people's favorite for sure. I don't know why it's in a big slab. It doesn't need to be, but alas, it is. That was during a time where PSA seemingly was just wanting to get rid of big slabs, so any excuse to do so, they would do just that. Icons patch here. These are not match worn, it's event worn, but $630 on that one. We have a matchups PSA 9 here for $630. We'll see more about the matchups later. The base cards are doing really well. This is about the price you could have got a silver for last year. Now the base are doing this. Kaboom KDB, nice looking Kaboom there for $630. We got a PSA 9 R9 second year. This goes for $630 as well. And we saw PSA 10 do like $12K recently, which at least to me implied someone thought that was a rookie, and this price seems to sort of align with that. But alas, $630 on that one is what it did. Above it, Messi patch out of Futera. This actually is game worn, and it's 3 different games as well, which is interesting. It's got, I believe, like a friendly match. Yeah, friendly against Brazil, an Argentinian game in the Copa America against Uruguay, and then a Barcelona club kit, which, makes it interesting. Got a nice little sort of a logo down there, at least a brand at least. And, depending on how you see it, like, that's out of 13. So it's 3 times as rare as this NT, and it's also 3 match-worn kits rather than this player-worn. I know it's not NT, it doesn't have the brand, but, Futera generally does less, but ultimately makes you wonder, are people there for the patch? Are they there for the brand? And sometimes it's a little in between. PSA 5 Monday Chromo at 700. This is about what PSA 8s were doing earlier this year. Orange Green Wave Kylian Mbappe for 720. Above it, a Estampos PSA 1 for 750. I thought this is, it's a nice looking Stadium Club Chrome. RIP to that, but Lamine Yamal PSA 9 Gold for 750. In a world where everything Lamine Yamal is expensive, that doesn't, seem crazy to me, but alas, it's not my ballpark that I'm hanging out in. PSA 5 Maradona, this one's up a lot. Of course, 1986 Panini, the World Cup he is known for. This goes for 780 past comps. $200. Granted, this is the French one, but it's kind of rarer, which makes you wonder. And then 250 and 300 earlier this year as well, so that's up quite a bit there in a world where not everything Maradona is super expensive, but that, or at least hasn't raised a great amount, but that one seemingly has. Optic Gold Mbappe for 810 seemed like a decent number. Granted, PSA 10, so certainly that helps. We have a Jude Marks of Excellence out of 25, 840. People seem to love that set quite a bit, and I think, the Lamine Yamal has to certainly be the driver of it. We also have a blue 2015, it says dark blue jersey. There you go. PSA 10 goes for 840 there as well. Thought this was pretty strong. A Disco Panini Revolution Stargaze and Cristiano Ronaldo for 870. I always say I like the Galactics. The Galactics are rarer. They're estimated to be like, pop 10 or 15. And I got a PSA 10 of that for around this price last year. So certainly up a good bit. And personally, I'm not a huge fan of the Disco. I actually like the Magna more out of 49. It looks really good. I think the Disco just leaves a lot to be desired in hand. R9 Select Auto here for 870. You have a Cristiano Ronaldo PSA 9 Silver for 870 as well. Keep this in mind because we'll see a Messi later that does quite a bit more than this. And, it makes me wonder at least sort of why that is. But back in the day, you could have, literally earlier this year, you could have got it for 162. And to be fair, even at that time, that probably seemed like a steal. But, 180 there, but there were bins going for 300 at the time and 273. So ultimately doing pretty well despite being a significant bit less than Messi, as we'll come to see. 2004 Facsimile Cristiano Ronaldo sticker, PSA 9 for 870. Carbon Fiber 2020 goes for 900. Carbon Fiber's pretty rare. It's unnumbered, but if memory serves me right, I think it's like it's print run 15 to like 25, somewhere in there. Can't quite remember, but looks good, and especially with Messi and the Barcelona kit's a nice one. Another Futera here. I think these are all the same patches as before, just a different layout. This goes for 930. PSA 10 Silver Kylian Mbappe for nearly 1,000. Took a peek at that, and this is actually up 30% from the start of the year, or actually 2 years ago. And there are times in between you could have got it for nearly like $500, so you could have doubled up on that one there. Got a Starosta Jose Manuel Moreno PSA 1 for 19 from 1942 for 960. Pop 1 of 2, 1 higher. J.M. Moreno, one of the most notable South American players of the era, if not the most, and pretty beat, but ultimately not easy to attain, as you can tell. Pop 1 of 2, just 1 higher, so that's why it does a good number. And just interesting to see the dichotomy here between a silver Kylian Mbappe and then next to it you have something from nearly 100 years ago, and just always fun to see how those compare. 2013 Icons, again, another patch here in the top right, event worn. Kind of a weird positioning on the patch, I will say, but nonetheless, that goes for nearly 1,100. Select tie-dye, Cristiano Ronaldo for 1,100 here. Again, keep note of this. There will be a Messi later. The interesting part is this is a pop 1 of 10, none higher. The Messi's like a pop 10 and PSA 10. So it's weird that Ronaldo basically has no 10s and Messi seems to get nothing but 10s, which is odd. Got a 1957 OMB Garincha PSA 1 for 1,100. This is up a good bit. Last sale on that was about $500. The $500 sale was a bit low, to be fair. These have been certainly in the $800 to $1,300 range in the past, and seemingly gets back there. The rookie connotation in the title is certainly misleading, so hopefully that isn't why it did this number. Personally, I would have liked to have got the sticker, but wasn't willing to pay the premium, and ultimately, that could be a good or bad move. We'll find out. Messi PSA 6 for $1,200. That was a $300 card all day, every day, and still up a good bit. Some of the Messis retraced a little bit from the top, but man, on the low ends and on the high ends, it still seems to be doing really well. I think the middle end is where it's a little iffy, as it's still trying to figure itself out, but still a big number there. This goes for $1,200, a Top Liga Monday Chromo in an 8.5 grade. Not easy to get in this high of grade, but it's also not foil. It's BGS graded, so it's got a couple things going against it. It's up a good bit, certainly. These, again, could have been had for like $300, and that's at $1,200 now. Red Cristiano Ronaldo Prism out of 149, PSA 10. Could be a color match. Portugal's obviously green and red, so if you want to claim it as that, it's not as much a color match here as the kit's basically all green, but nonetheless, $1,200 on that one is a decent number as well. This Pele PSA 6, pop 1 of 1, none higher. Always iffy on pop 1 of 1, none higher, especially when it's recently graded and it's a hand cut issue, because hand cut issues can always be improved a little bit. You can trim them a little more since they're hand cut. And also being recently graded, I do wonder if it's something PSA just started grading. So I would look into that more if that's your type of card/sticker. Or whatever it's cut out from. Honestly, I am not sure. PSA 10 2006 Este Messi's going for $1,200 a piece there. You also have the blue Cristiano Ronaldo SGC 9. I thought that was a decent deal. Would you rather have that or PSA 10 red from 2018? Personally, I'd take the blue, even though it's not a color match, quote unquote. But ultimately, I still think that's a decent deal, especially in a world where a silver was, like 800 or 900, and we'll see the Messi does a massive premium over that. So a blue at that price point doesn't seem bad. SGC graded, but, depends what you feel about that. And top of page 1 here, we have a Campione Messi PSA 7. Goes for $1,300, not a big premium over the 6. We have a blue and red plaid, or as it's labeled here, I think it's Power Plaid, it looks like. This goes for $1,350 and an 8. And a PSA 6 Campione number 35 for $1,400. So that takes us through page 1 on to, I guess this takes us to page 1. That was page 2. Start with an Idemar Pele from 1962, PSA 6. Really high grade. You do see a lot of these, but not in PSA 6. Pop 1 of 2, 1 higher. You have a BGS 8 Campione here, number 89 for $1,500, and a camo field level Ronaldo for $1,500 as well. We'll see a Messi here in a second of that as well. A couple patches here. First is the Futera from 2015. This in a BGS 8.5 does $1,600. You also have the 8.5 SGC going for $1,600. And a dual patch here, which I actually think is really cool. Like, in a world where Messi Ronaldo stuff does crazy numbers, this being numbered out at 57, which is kind of random, at least it seems to me, but really nice looking card. I would imagine in hand, the players are probably more refractory and probably not this dark. I have never had one of these in hand, but that would be my assumption. The patches are really cool in terms of they're both match worn. The Messi from an international friendly against Brazil, but the Ronaldo from a Champions League game from 2008 in a semifinal against Barcelona that they did end up winning. Ronaldo did not score, but still a really cool patch. Granted, it's just a blank patch, but still, nonetheless, at least it's from a meaningful event, and at least Futera tells us what it's from, because that adds a lot to me, at least. I would imagine others, especially if it's something of that importance. PSA 378 Crack goes for $1,740, which is up a good bit. Those had bottomed out probably 800 to 1,000, and about up double from there. Also a very OC copy, which is always a hindrance to people. They really like a centered copy. Generally speaking, 2024, this is where Topps Chrome just loses me. 101s are cool, super fractors are cool, but man, a logo fractor rose gold star ball, yeah, not so much. And 29 Watchers kind of, shows that a little bit, I think. They're really pushing the star ball. They want it to be the logo man of soccer, but the problem is it doesn't fit nicely on a patch. You got to split it up into 5 different patches, and it's not the same, but they really want it to be. And yeah, I get why, but ultimately I think it's misguided, but that's just me. BGS 8 here goes for $1,800. I thought this was a pretty good price, at least comparatively. Again, this was probably like a $500 card all day. Now it's closer to $2K. Lamine Yamal Mega Cracks IP Auto goes for $2K. If you guys saw my recent video of selling my 71 bis and what I bought with that money, I got some Aquarella Pele's. I got a couple of them autographed in person. Really nice autos for about $3,000 a piece. So, I mean, $2,000 a piece for a player that's still playing, that's not proven to that degree, and a PSA 8. I mean, it just seems super strong, man. But ultimately, the people want what the people want. So, I get it. SGC 8 Monday Chromo Messi goes for $2K. I don't think that's bad, personally. I'd much rather have it over this number 62 in a BGS 8, but that's just me. And I like SGC. I think they do a good job, despite their current status as basically, PSA's dumping ground that they're going to eventually probably shut down. I don't even know, but it just seems like it's heading that way. 2021 Immaculate Sapphire Lionel Messi, 10 of 10 jersey number. People like Immaculate. It's clearly low numbered with the jersey number as well. It's got things going for it, but to me, it looks like a Leaf card, honestly. Like, that looks like just a quintessential Leaf card to me. And so, at least for me, that's, seemingly a little off, but ultimately still gets a good price. It's Messi. It's a cool card. It is what it is. 1995 Navarrete Copa America R9 PSA 8. I was looking in the Vintage Discord, link down below. As always, the Vintage Discord's a great place to learn about cards that are vintage, that are pre-modern. There's even modern chatter in there as well. But apparently this 1995 R9 has like 5 or 6 different variations. I don't know in terms of what are the most rare, but at least from what the people were saying in there, this one about double over the last comp. I tried looking up comps, but I couldn't find anything. In terms of pricing, this is an all-time high price. The closest we got was this $1,300 sale, $500 sale. So really nothing close, honestly. So seems like a pretty good number there for R9. As I mentioned before, the Manga Cracks cards in different years are getting a lot of love. This is a nice looking Messi, PSA 10 as well. Pop 1 of 7, gets a good number. Colossal NT out of 10, goes for $2,100. It is also not match worn, it's player worn, and Colossal generally isn't people's favorite, but, an out of 10 gold Messi is going to be, and gets a decent number there for sure. Select Camo Field Level goes for $2,200 here. We saw the Ronaldo just a bit ago did like $1,500, so a 50% premium on the Messi. I like the field levels, 2016, 2017, really across the board I like them, but Camo's always been not my favorite, personally. It just doesn't look great. It doesn't speak to me as an out of 20, but ultimately it's Messi, it's low number, it's field level, people are going to pay a good number. 2022 not NT, but National Conventions National Inserts out of 5 for $2,300. Green Red Fusion Prize Footballers Holland. I've always loved the Prize Footballers. It's a nice looking card. It's got them in the Salzburg kit, and this is numbered out of 20, so fairly rare. In terms of the lowest price that we saw, that was this year in January for $1,600. Back in 2021, 2022, this was closer to a $3,000 to $5,000 card. Of course, it came down a good bit, but seemingly is building its way back up at the moment. In this row, nothing but Messi. You can take your choice of the bunch. We have a 1-of-1 Panini Instant from 2024 Copa America. We have a 2013 Icons. Again, this is event worn, but it is a nice patch. And we have a 2004 PSA 7 Este for $2,700. Personally, they're all actually the same exact price. I take the Este, but I'm a sucker for nice Panini sticker, and event worn really doesn't do it for me. But ultimately, to each their own. And honestly, I think there's even a case for the 1-of-1 Panini Instant, depending on how much that means to you. It is clearly a 1-of-1. I know Panini Instant isn't people's favorites, but it's still a 1-of-1. And in the world of Messi, 1-of-1s, people like it almost no matter what it is. So. Marquee Moments Messi, we got some more here. Gold out of 10 goes for $3K. I think that's a really nice looking set. I do enjoy it. Generally, it's got a lot of like World Cup winners and stuff in there. Hadn't won a World Cup at that point in time, but nonetheless still has a pretty cool card. It doesn't look the best, I guess. It kind of looks odd, but I like the set just for at least honoring moments. I think that's just a cool thing they don't do enough. Blue... We have a World Cup Blue out of 199 PSA 10 for $3K as well, which, seems like a decent number for sure, but it's still a really cool card. I mean, color match, 2018 Prism, can't go wrong with that. Then we have a Gold Fellaini PSA 10 jersey number as well. Clearly a really big number paid here, especially for Fellaini, but, when you add in PSA 10 super tough in 2014 Prism and its jersey number, I mean, if it's up your alley, I could see why people got in a bidding war on it. but still seems super strong to me. But I'm not collecting Fellaini, or 2014 Prism Gold, so what's it matter to me, right? This is what I was referencing earlier. Messi has 8 PSA 10s of the Select 2016 tie-dye, which is interesting. This gets a pretty good number for tie-dye, honestly, 3,100 there. We have Kylian Mbappe 2016 foot, an iconic sticker in Modern, which is hard to come by, but 3,200 there. That bottomed at probably 1,500 at 2K, so up a good bit from the bottom, at least the recent bottom. 2014 Prism Silver. This was also another one I was referencing earlier. The Ronaldo did like 800 or 900. The Messi does 3,500. I know Messi certainly has a multiple over Ronaldo, generally speaking, but 4x, that's pretty strong. If we go and look at comps, this was up quite a bit. Last one was a bin for 3K. Before that, 1,500, 1,000, literally in July. And before that, 700. I mean, up massively. And, I think they're cool cards. Would you rather have a 2014 PSA 9 Silver or a 2018 Color Match PSA 10? I'd probably take the Color Match PSA 10, honestly. And, I don't know if that's a hot take or not. If you look at watchers, this actually has double the watchers. So, other people are saying they're more interested, but not willing to pay that dollar. So, is what it is. I'd personally rather stretch for something like this, a 2019 Topps Chrome Lionel Messi Red Wave Refractor, PSA 9. Red Wave, not people's favorite. Of course, people want the true red, but, in a world where you don't get a lot of red, Messi, Barcelona stuff, I mean, for 3,600, comparatively, doesn't seem terrible to me. You also have a green Cristiano Ronaldo patch auto from 2017 Select going for 3,800. And then the matchups for 4,500. And if we look back at some comps here, this is up quite a bit. Kind of got to look through different comps here, but 1,500 in May. If we go back further, you could have had this for 800 last year. And, it doesn't trade all that often. These are not easy to get in a PSA 10, so that's certainly why it's doing this number. But, man, super strong. For me, I'd rather have either the Ronaldo or the Messi next to it. And I wouldn't even need the extra cash. The extra cash would be nice, but I'd just take both of those cards over the matchups. But I've never been a huge matchups fan, and so a base isn't really going to do it for me. But, again, that's just me. I just think the Messi picture doesn't really look all that good. The Ronaldo picture's decent, but especially a base card, just tough to get me to 4,500 on that. I mean, it just seems wild. PSA 9, 2014 Prism Messi Auto for 4,600. Good number there. I mean, those were probably closer to like 2K, I would say, and you probably could have got a PSA 10 for this price point at a different point in time. BGS 9 sticker goes for 5K. Last year, BGS 9.5s were like 2.5 to 3.5K, so, double the price and a half lower grade. Pretty strong. Pele Flawless for 5,400. People love Flawless. People love Pele. Naturally, it does that number. Not the most desirable card nor parallel. This is just the base out of 25, but still, it's a Pele Flawless auto, so I get the desirability behind it. Then we have a red Chrome Ronaldo from 2018, Juve kit, PSA 9, pop 1 of 1, none higher. Does 5,500. Initially seems strong, but I guess the pop 1 of 1, none higher is carrying a little bit here, which is reasonable. The Astan 8 does 5,700, as we can tell, or actually we can't because I closed it. Those were a good bit less, probably between $1,000 and $2,000 a year ago, closer to $6,000 now. We also have a BGS 8 Ronaldo for 6K as well. This is an authentic sticker. A lot of BGS graded Ronaldo stickers are not. This one is. So if you don't know what you're looking for, I would just say stick to PSA if you can. But 6K there is a good number. You could have got like 9s, BGS 9s that were real for like 2 to 2.5K. So that's up quite a bit as well. Part of the problem is some people don't know what's real, what's not. So, getting a real one is tricky. And a lot of the comps are fake ones that are going for the low prices that we used to see. So it's just kind of a mess, really. BGS did awful work there and never rectified it. So it is what it is. PSA 9 Messi, number 35, goes for 6,300. Seems down a little bit to me, but ultimately still strong compared to last year. That was probably a 1,500 2K card, I would say. Eminence Auto, also controversy around that. Doesn't appear to be Messi's autograph, at least compared to basically the rest of his career, but still gets a good number, White Box 101. 2018 Finest out of 10, PSA 8 goes for 7,500. There were a couple comps on this in the past. There's a 2K sale in 2023 and another $2,600 sale in 2023, so up about 3x from there. Well, up 200%, but 3 times the price. Ruby Messi 1 of 1 out of Immaculate from 2021 goes for $8,700. We have an Estival rookie field level green color match, all the fun stuff. PSA 9, pop 1 of 3, 2 higher for $9K, which, man, that seems strong, but he's a fun player, and I know how to pronounce his name now, so at least he's on my radar in that regard. But certainly, one of the hot prospects of the moment. But when you do look at the watchers, I think that's always telling, because if he only has 40 watchers now, and this might be his most hype point in his career, potentially, just wonder where that goes. If it goes down to 30 or 20 watchers, where that price point is. It's just tough, man. It's just tough. Monday Chromo PSA 9 for $9,300. That was a $1,500 to $2,000 card all day, and this one goes for a pretty penny. Very well centered. It is early graded though, 28 mil cert. We're up to like 120 mil now, so that was graded probably in like 2017 or 2018. So you never know in regard to the grading standards then compared to now. PSA claims there isn't anything really that's changed other than centering a smidge. But I think a lot of people would tell you it's certainly changed a lot. Beyond that, another Messi row here. Kaboom, PSA 9. This is just doing numbers. 9,600 here. If we look back, I'll close that. I'll close this. And there you go. 9,600, 8,400, 7,000, 6,000, 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, 1,000. You could have got it for 1,100 in 2023, and now you're looking at nearly 10K. So, is it the peak? I don't know. Are prices up a little bit? I guess. Kaboom's not my thing, but it seems to be plenty of other people's thing, and that is all the difference here. I thought this was a crazy deal, at least compared to the other one. I know in soccer especially, we really don't like autograph cards compared to the base card, mostly because a lot of them are stickers, and I get that. But the card grade is a 9.5 with the 10 auto compared to a PSA 8. And it's half the pop. This is a PSA, or that's a numbered out of 5. This is numbered out of 10. I just think, another $2,500, just 30% more, and you can get a bump on a grade and a half and a 10 auto. I mean, comparatively, I think that was a deal. PSA 10 of the number 62 Axion. This goes for $17K, which is certainly down a little bit, but still strong. There's another one above it at $21K. I looked at these closely. This $21K appears to be a 10 to me. This $17K one does not. If you go ahead and zoom in, I mean, the bottom, there's definitely a white corner there, a white edge on the bottom. I don't know if this is the case or not, but there's a couple white specks there. Definitely doesn't appear to be a 10 anymore. If you resubmitted that, I wouldn't be surprised if you got an 8, but I think that plays a little factor in the pricing, but clearly not a huge factor. But I can see why that one does a bit lower. And then finally, two 71 bisses to top the auction block, a PSA 7 for $21K and a BGS 8.5 for $26K. Looked at the PSA 7 chart to see where that's at, and as you can see, it's down a little bit from the peak, but actually, the second highest sale that we've seen in the last year. If we go all time, I guess it's actually it's the third highest price we've ever seen. So yeah, it's down a little bit, but ultimately when it's the third highest price ever, I still think it's pretty strong. So that does it for this auction block. Another BIS topping it off. We'll see what we got next week. I haven't really given it a look yet. Well, we have a PSA 8 Cristiano Ronaldo Mega Cracks, which certainly will do a good number. We have a Reverence 1 of 1 Messi, a PSA 7 BIS, some more Messi rookies, a color wheel as well, a Kaboom Lamine Yamal, a Flawless Sapphire Messi there. The base goes in a PSA 9. Green Mbappe, 2014 auto, and a PSA 10. The PSA 9 did big number this week. We'll see where that goes. Some more Messi here. Lamine Yamal Color Blast. Ronaldinho 1 of 1. Lamine Yamal. Tons of fun stuff scattered throughout, as always. And looking forward to that. And hopefully you are as well. But with that said, that does it for this week. As always, again, if you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like. I'll hit you with it again. Anything you thought sold high or low, or maybe something you snagged, would love to hear about it down below in a comment. And if you want to see more videos like this, as soon as they go live, make sure to subscribe. But with that said, hopefully you have a wonderful day, and peace.